Saratoga Springs, Tony Finau is locked and loaded for his next appearance in a major after an impressive performance at the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills. In retrospect, his T5 finish, appearance in the final group on Sunday, and making more birdies than anyone in the field of the top players in the world all confirm to Finau that he belongs among the top talent anywhere. That's why America's Ryder Cup captains invited him to a practice round in Paris leading up to the week of the British Open in mid-July. It is why Finau posted the best round of the day during the third round at Shinnecock when the rest of the field, including the world's No.1 ranked player Dustin Johnson, faltered. Finau took this past week off and was on the No.1 Friday at Talon's Cove in Saratoga Springs to greet participants in the Ron McBride Foundation charity event to fight the opioid crisis. McBride and Finau have been friends since Finau was 9, inspiring and lifting him at a critical time in his young life. "I'll always be here to support Coach Mac," said Finau. "He's been an incredible mentor to me. As it stands, all his fame hasn't changed Finau. He is humble, accessible, accommodating, respectful and giving. He has not morphed beyond his humble beginnings, which has become a popular storyline by the world's media, including the New York Times." Finau planned on taking off a couple of weeks regardless of his finish at Shinnecock. "It was a break to be with family. We've got 2 majors coming up and I'll play 4 straight weeks, including the British and Canadian Opens. I want to play all the time, but it's tough being away from my family. I proved to myself rest is important. Every time I come off a week off, I feel fresh and play my best." Finau also found out he's a better player on the PGA Tour when he doesn't go to a venue and get all keyed up. His low-key approach allows him to keep pressure off himself and his game both physically and emotionally. Finau said his experience at Shinnecock reaffirmed what he believes in his heart, that he can compete with the best, and if he continues to work hard and keep himself alert and in position, he can win. When Finau and Daniel Berger went lower than anyone else in the third round at the U.S. Open, the USGA received tons of criticism from players and the public. It was a course that sent Ricky Fowler and Jordan Spieth home after failing to make the cut, and it cost Johnson a lead he'd held the first 2 rounds. Finau shot 66 that day with 6 birdies. And remember, Jason Day, Spieth and Rory McIlroy didn't make the cut. Finau and Berger played in the morning while carnage took place on the course in the afternoon. Looking back, Finau and Berger feel a little disrespected for their outstanding round when so many were complaining and stumbling all over the course. Some of those high scores in the field occurred while they were playing in the tent looking at play. Those guys were playing the same course, and when we were putting, the wind had come up and it was impacting our putts just like it did theirs. I think we really put it together that day," said Finau. Facts and figures show just how good of a year Finau is having, even without a victory. This will be his best season as a professional when all is said and done. He ranked number 11 in FedEx Cup standings heading into this past weekend. That is a spot ahead of Jon Rahm, U.S. Open champion Koepka and Fowler. Finau's scoring average is 68.80. He has toyed with the number 1 spot on the PGA Tour in driving distance all year and is currently No.2 314-yard average behind 9 but ahead of Johnson. He ranks number 1 on the tour in ball speed at 180.2 miles an hour with an abbreviated backswing that generates the No.7 ranked club head speed among tour players, 121.83 miles per hour. He earned $3.3 million this season and $10 million on the PGA circuit in his career. Finau is qualified to play in World Golf Championship events this year, a perk that guarantees him a minimum of $250,000 in each event. He's had 6 top 10 finishes this season, including a tie with the world's number 1 Johnson at the Masters at Augusta at 10th. That's 2 top 10s in 2 majors with 2 to go. I like where I'm at right now. I feel good mentally and physically. I've got good support and I feel more confident in what I'm doing and a schedule that keeps me fresh and ready to go. Ryder Cup captain interest in Finau is solid. He's a guy who can gobble up birdies in match play and has the distance to intimidate. This year's Ryder Cup will be September 28-30 at Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines, France. Comment on this story. Finau has the power to play through the winds and humidity at the British Ope July 19-22 at Carnoustie Golf Links in Angus, Scotland. Finau, Ryder Cup team member. That has a nice ring to it for the first PGA Tour player of Tongan, Samoan blood. Finau is posting the numbers. If you go by FedEx Cup rankings, he's among the top 7 PGA Tour players among Americans for the captains to consider. He ranks 31st in the world golf rankings before this past weekend. Finau is having the summer of his life.